wife and I started Celebration Church, and we started with her, myself, and our 6-month-old little girl. On our first service, 3 people from the Woodlands, Texas showed up to the service. 3. I have friends of mine who have started churches since then, and they say, we had 150 people on our first service. And I'm like, how did you do that? It took us a year to get to 150. We must have did something really wrong. It was so depressing. It was so depressing. But I had one friend, his name was Johnny McGowan. He probably doesn't even remember that he did this. But he called me week after week after week and said, how you doing? How's the church? It's going to be a great church. You're a great pastor. I'm like, I'm a pastor over 3 people. That's okay. It's going to be a great church. He was in the moment. He saw I was in a moment. And the gift only lasts for the lifetime of a moment. Because if he calls me today, I'll appreciate it. But it doesn't weigh what it weighed when I needed it. He saw the moment. It is my hope. It is my hope. I'm not preaching about this. This is another subject for another day. But it's my hope that we would begin to recognize moments. Moments. It's easy to recognize seasons. Ooh, this is a hard season. This is a good season. But moments happen in less than seconds. You can almost feel the compelling voice of God. Call them and encourage them. Come worship me. On Thursday, I was preparing my message, and I looked at the clock, and I saw that in 2 hours, my family was coming home. So actually, it was on Friday, and I was preparing at home, and all of a sudden, I had a decision to make. Do I finish my message, which is obviously very important, or do I run to my office, because I was at the kitchen table, run to my office and take the next 2 hours to pray? That was a tough decision because I knew you would be looking at me in 48 hours and I better have something to say. But I also knew this, that if you show up to the house of God with a need and all you find is me, you and I both are going to be disappointed in what happens. Because you showed up to see God, to meet God, to feel the presence of God. I went upstairs and I got on my hands and knees, and for the first time in a long time, hot tears came down my face. I pray every day with great passion, but I'm not an emotional person. But in that moment, the Holy Spirit took me to a place that was beautiful. But I almost missed the moment. Let me tell you, capitalize on the moment. At the very thought of God, it's an invitation from God. Let me say this. Some people capitalize on a moment. They miss a moment. It's very hard to capitalize on the moment whenever you're in a huge battle because you're stressed and you're worried, which is the strategy of the enemy. That's the enemy's playbook to keep you distracted and discouraged. But if you can see through it, and notice moments God uses you in the middle of the fire. When the fire inside burns brighter than the fire around you, that's when you know victory is a sure thing.